Why? Okay. Hey, podcasters! Welcome to Read, Watch, and Wine. I am here with all of my co-hosts, and I am Treava,
Lynn,
Raya, Champagne,
and we are here today to talk about the transition or the adaptation of the movie and the book, The Handmaid's Tale. So, we are talking about The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, and we're going to look at the comparisons of the television show. And right now we're going to focus just on season 1 and 2. And we got lots to talk about as it relates to it.
Yes, we do.
You know, what do you guys think? Let's start with the book. What do you think about the book, The Handmaid's Tale? Really?
The only problem I have with the book is the way that it ended.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my own.
I agree with you. God,
wholly
that just
abrupt ending.
Yeah.
I don't understand the ending.
We know.
I just don't get it.
You needed to just say the end, or what is it?
I mean, it's just like saying, and so they were running through the woods, and they get to the end.
Thank you.
Epilogue.
That's what I felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I know, it was.
I know it was ending
Like,
either.
who freaking writes a book like that?
Right.
Margaret Atwood.
Margaret, why?
Well, I feel like Margaret made up for it because, you know, she's actually the producer of the movie.
Which
So
she did a
I think
great
she wrote
job.
the book.
Of course she's the producer of the movie because it was great, but I'm just saying, don't do this to me.
Can we refer to it as a show?
Yeah,
Yes.
not a movie.
It's not a movie. It is a television
I love
show.
y'all.
I'm sorry.
Book to real, because that's really what it is.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So in the book, Serena Joy and Fred are ancient.
Or what?
Ancient. They're old.
Oh, okay.
Like Serena Joy has a cane.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Fred had.
I so did not pick that up.
Yes, Fred had gray hair.
I did pick it up.
Yeah. He's
Oh, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they even talked about that at the historical perspective when they talked about what Fred looked like. So you're right. They were supposed to be old, but they were a little youthful.
Yeah, they were youthful.
On the television
Well, they
show.
had to be to get away with what they got away with.
That's
If
true.
you got a cane, I'm going to kick you down the steps.
Pretty much, yeah. But I can see
A
how.
little anger at the movie.
Oh boy.
I can actually see how if they would have made them older in the show. I kind of, because that forceful meanness that Serena Joy young version portrays, I can see an older lady doing the same thing, probably worse. She's like old mean grandma. or
Yeah,
something.
like Aunt Lydia.
See,
Right,
no,
like
I see it the opposite. It'd be more spiteful if she was younger because she's envious of what she's able to do. If she's, or produce a child. If she's older, I feel like she's like, oh, that time already passed, so.
True.
Well,
Maybe a little bitter.
It was easier to believe.
Yes, a little
She may
bitter.
be envious of her for her youth too, if she was older.
That's a
So it
good
could've-
point.
Yeah, it could have been either way.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been as believable for the show to me personally because I'd have kicked that beat down the steps. I'm just sorry.
There's a lot of people that I would have been fighting every day.
Exactly.
That's
And I
very
mean,
true.
she had a little bit more strength. They're scared, but seriously, I can't see a woman with a cane unless she had, you know, the...
What is that? What does that mean?
What's the
The cattle
The
prod?
cattle prod.
That's what that was.
Aunt Lydia. Aunt Lydia had.
Do that again? But isn't it crazy because we were talking about this, just the whole storyline with the book and the movie, and you know, one thing that always comes to mind is like, oh my gosh, I'd be fighting everyone, and it just automatically takes me back to like slavery times,
Yes,
because that's what you
because you
think
wouldn't.
back in slavery times.
Yeah.
Oh, that would never happen to me.
That
I'd be
never
fighting
happened to me.
everybody.
Right.
But it's just,
You'd just be
it blows
dead.
my mind. Right?
I mean, it could happen.
It just blows my mind that, you know, all of this was going on. And I know that there were like these hidden rebellions going on, but I can't understand how this could have possibly happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it happened right in front of your eyes. I mean, if you look at nowadays what's going on. I mean, honestly, it can happen behind closed doors, little by little, and then all of a sudden you wake up and, you know, they're burning crosses everywhere.
And they said
or
that in the
running people
book,
over.
that
And
it
you're,
wasn't
being a
all at
handmaid.
once. It was small things that they missed slowly to accumulate to the point where they're at in the book. So.
Like slipping in legislation and stuff or something like that. Yeah. So it just...
Believable for me.
Yeah, it was just crazy. So now what do you think about season 1 and season 2? How do you think that they are doing with the transition respecting the storyline of the book?
I like that they're spacing out the things that happened in the book because it's one singular book, and some of the different storylines and events that happen, they have spaced it out within season 1 and season 2. So it's not all in the first season in the second season's like addition.
Yeah.
I like that they've had small things that happened in both.
But there's a lot of things that they completely changed that like what?
Like what?
Like what?
That's not what they did in the book.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
Like
what
what?
is it? What is it? What is it that you don't like? That
I
they changed?
mean, as a for instance, there was a lot of things. I just
Can we get an example?
Main part there, buddy. Well, I know they nearly didn't say praise be as much in the book as they do, I feel, in the
Under
show.
his eyes.
Yeah. I don't feel like they said it as much as they say it
probably
in
because
now.
who wants to read that 75,000
That's
times?
very true, and but I will say it 107. Praise be.
Well, you guys are saying it now, like
Right,
some real
praise
stuff.
Right. Under his eyes.
Praise be. We've been sent good weather.
Right. May the Lord open up.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. Let's talk about Aunt Lydia.
Why do we have to talk about Aunt Lydia?
Oh, here we go.
Aunt Lydia is pure evil.
She's not evil. She's a
torn.
woman who has adapted herself to what the world is offering her right now. If she wasn't
She
the way
has
she
no
was,
compassion.
they would have to bring someone
She
else
does have
in to replace
compassion.
her.
Does not.
She does have compassion.
Does not.
She could have killed
No,
someone.
like in the second season when it came to Alfred breastfeeding, whether she was in the house or whether she was actually at that school.
Fred? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, I keep saying Alfred. Oh my god. Off Fred. It's like a force of habit.
Of Fred.
Breastfeed.
We know you're talking about June, okay?
Yeah, June.
When she was in the cafeteria, school or whatever, and she was having a hard time producing milk, Aunt Lydia helped to convince Serena to let her back in the house so that she could be actively pumping, and also realizing that it kind of helped June at the same time too.
She also tried to take her feet clear off. So,
Like I said, she's torn.
But she has to show that she's in charge, or they would always be in charge. So she has to do these things because, again,
that
all
was
of them are
fine.
doing things to survive. This is her survival.
which is fine. That doesn't make me want to like her.
And she's
I do
still
like
evil.
evil.
I feel like Aunt Lydia is only compassionate when it's about a baby. You can
Yes.
see it in her. Like
She
is
says
so
that, though.
Yes.
But you can see that soft side of her. But when she's talking about a baby or when it's involving a baby, which is why I think that she was adamant about the breast milk and the example that you provided, because it was about the baby.
Right, because she was ready to take her out once their baby came.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think that maybe further along, maybe there'll be some different opinions with Aunt Lydia.
Well, until we get there, Aunt Lydia
She's pure evil.
God.
And I'm not disappointed that she was knocked down the steps, stabbed, and beat.
I was like, I want to see if she makes it through that.
Yeah, we don't even know if she's going to be around
That's
season 3.
True. Oh.
Because
Okay.
When Emily pulled out that like knife, I was like, "Don't do it."
she went
Don't
black.
Do
Like,
it.
she went cold black and was
She
like,
turned around. I was like, "Oh, it's over. It's over."
Okay, so the stabbings everywhere. My homegirl,
what's that?
Moira.
Mora. I love
Mora is
her.
freaking hilarious.
I love her.
Absolutely
I love
love
And
Samara Wiley
what's
is the
really
best
funny
actress.
is that she's exactly what I pictured from reading the book.
Yes, definitely.
She's exactly who I thought she would be, and she's such an amazing actress that she just really put herself into this role. Like, best pick for casting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
She's
definitely.
really
Oh, absolutely. I actually think Serena Joy was a great casting also.
Oh yeah.
Even though she was described as an
Yeah.
older person, I think just...
Definitely embodied that character. very
Yeah,
well.
she just... I
Yeah,
can't see anyone else as Serena
Yeah,
Joy.
I liked her too. She has some big feet though. I noticed.
Really,
lot.
we're not body shaming.
No, I was like, remember I was like, how tall is she?
Yeah.
It's about 5'9".
Okay.
I mean, y'all
We can cut that
haters.
part.
I
We
have
can cut that
small
part
feet and I'm
You're
tall.
gonna need to cut that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
we
really
gotta-
do like her. I like her a lot.
So reading the book, I was worried because the book ended so abruptly as we talked about. And I'm thinking, how in the world are they going to like drag this out for several seasons? But I love the way that they are like embodying these backstories for each character. And I can see how this could go on forever
For a
because
long
there's
time.
so many characters and they're all going to have these backstories. That
But then
will
they
come-
have I said Martha because I'm so used to the Marthas. Margaret Atwood as the producer. So I feel like the add-ins that they put, she's really gonna be able to make congruent like events
Absolutely.
happen. So they're not like far-fetched where that would never happen in the book.
Right.
So everything that she's adding to it, it's adding actual good quality that would match the book.
Yep. I think that's a great point because and she probably just also had some additional ideas of how she saw those characters. So
As long as when this is over we have an ending, I don't really care.
I was real upset about the way the book ended,
really
right?
bothering me, and I'm just like, maybe at some point I will one day meet her and say, "Hey, can you just whisper in my ear some kind of ending?" So that
She's gonna say, "Watch the series."
So that I
You'll see
can
what the
closure.
ending is
I'm
supposed
just
to be.
saying, if the series doesn't go on like 7 seasons or something, I don't know. I'm gonna need that in my ear, or I'm not gonna be able to survive.
Survive.
Okay, how about Commander Fred? Gorgeous! Is that his name? Alfred?
Fred.
We're back to Alfred.
Yeah, Serena Joy. You're talking about Serena Joy's husband.
Yeah.
He has his own identity, and I'm not going to say Serena Joy's husband. His name is Commander Fred.
I am because women
Joseph.
don't get their due rights in this show. So he's Serena Joy's husband.
Gorgeous.
Pretty sure the law is written so that is not accurate.
I don't care. I don't care.
Obviously.
I'm changing it. Because you watch it and some stuff you just get so mad. Like, what?
Right.
But she helped write the law, so you can't get upset.
And
Because she did not envision it to be the way. So the laws were written, but you can tell that there's something about her that she's like torn about how it is actually playing against her.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, because
I agree.
she's
That's
so
gonna come out,
silly
yeah.
to think that they could write the laws this way and it wouldn't all of a sudden suppress women. Or she's finding out that she doesn't like to be suppressed. I mean, when you think about it, the backstories show her giving speeches,
Yeah, she was
rallies, she was
very
very
active.
active, writing books.
Yeah.
Someone had made the comment that, how do you feel about the women in your community not even being able to read the books that you once wrote? So there's no way that you can go from that. And I don't care, even if you want to move into a conservative world, to go from that to just being silenced.
Well, just like when all the wives stood up to protest to have their children be able to read the Bible, and she had her finger chopped off, that right there was like, you wrote this law, so now you're asking for the men to change it? Like, what'd you think was going to happen? That they're going to be like, oh, because Serena said so, we're going to change it. No, they're going to stick by the law, and you're going to lose a finger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's so smart, and I'm not trying to male bash. We're not going to male bash here. But history has proven that when the males are in the leadership position, that it just doesn't go right. And they don't necessarily do right by women. All the way back
also
to
led by
the
their
Salem
husbands,
witch
so.
trials. I mean, it just has never worked out.
That's true.
I don't know why
that's a good point.
why she would even think that would work out. And I don't even know that it would necessarily work out even if all the women were in charge. I think the diversity of thought from both genders just has to be in existence for things to work.
True.
I like that comment.
Oh, I'm like, what you doing with?
It's like, what?
So, what do you guys think about Nick?
I love Nick. I love him
love
so
Nick.
much. I do love Nick.
Freaking have a voice, Nick.
Listen,
No, I
he's
think he
that
was
silent-
treading water like perfectly.
Yes, he
Because
was.
he was playing both sides like he needed to, and he was doing what he needed to do to protect June that he loves, but also his baby. So I think he did a good job, even his character and the actual actor, that they did a really good job of making sure that he played that role as the eye, but also the security driver very well.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
And he's easy on the eyes.
He's not bad on that.
Besides the eyebrows,
a little
they
bit.
were very distracting.
A little bit. How about
But
Cray
everything
Cray?
else, his lips though.
How about Janae?
Cray Cray. Cray Cray. I love me some Cray Cray.
Okay, so
You're not gonna go name her Cray Cray.
I have to name her Cray Cray.
She's so pretty.
okay, so I love
She
her
is.
in the show, but I did not like her in the book. In the book,
They completely changed the role.
they completely changed it. Thank you, because in the book they made it seem like she's like Aunt Lydia's puppet. Like all the rest of the handmaids are scared to tell her anything, which I would say that they weren't June and Janine was not friends in the book because everybody was scared to tell her anything or even talk to her because they were fear of what she may go and tell Aunt Lydia. But in the show, they were good friends. I guess Aunt Lydia still had that over her a little bit, but she still had, she was
still unstable enough to be able to tell too, but they did tell her stuff in the show.
Right, exactly.
So I wonder why they made that change, because I don't know. I guess they had to make the change so that June could have a more prominent role, because otherwise it's kind of like
everybody's equal.
Yeah.
If not, everybody was more even and
That's a
equal
good point. That's a good point.
Because they did completely change that.
So Lynn, who's your favorite character in the television show now?
My favorite character, I really like, of course, I like Samara Wiley because, she's just amazing in everything that she has her hand in. But I also really like Glenn's character, Alex. She played Emily.
Yeah.
I really like how torn she was because she was such a powerhouse in the show when she was a professor before.
Yeah.
And then to have to be this submissive, meek person that was just not agreeing with anything that was going on, but also to have a son and to make that choice to let her wife go with her son, that right there showed an internal power struggle that she had. And I think that her face as she was acting out that whole scene, or even a lot of the different scenes, she really, really embodied like that emotional struggle that she had.
Right.
So that casting, how she portrayed
she did a great job.
her emotions, yes, I think she did an amazing job.
And you know what was also interesting about that scene? I'm glad you bring it up, because in that scene where she was at the airport and she just could not grasp what was happening. Well, let me speak to your supervisor. And like her mind would not wrap around the fact that this was going on, which I think is the same thing that we all would experience. Like, what are you talking about? I don't think so. I'm leaving. And she just was not letting that go. Like,
especially
that was
after going through all those steps to make sure that her certificate of marriage was like valid with the right stamp, and then to all of a sudden to be told, oh no, as of this morning, this is invalid.
Right.
Like, what a slap in the face.
And the same thing happened with June, right? When she lost her job and she had to try to use her debit card or something, and it was like, oh no, you can't use this. It's not working. I was like, what are you talking about? I have money.
Yeah.
Your husband can't do it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I just thought that was so interesting. I love the way they portrayed the shock. Like, what are you talking about? Because I'd have burned down the city. Oh, I can't get my money out the bank?
Right.
Then ain't nobody getting their money.
One of the things that I did notice in the book versus the show was that inflation kind of set in. Sorry, I overanalyzed everything. So in the book, it was like, oh yeah, I have like $2,000 in my account, versus in the show, she was saying like several thousand, like it's $5 or $7.
Yeah.
So to me, of course, like, right now having $2,000 in your account, I mean, it's more than I got, but it's not that much compared to it being closer to like 10,000.
Right.
So I'm glad they made those little small changes, because I would have noticed that. Me being the overthinker, I was like, okay. They're making sure that they're adjusting with time.
Right, and that's what I was about to say, because I think because the book was written so long ago, $2,000 may be how much she had, but it might equate to the same thing as it would, like back then.
Exactly. And then the same thing when they mentioned like Twitter and they mentioned all those like newer things. I like how they put that in the show, because if they would have kept it just how the book was, it'd have been unrelatable for a lot of us now.
Right.
That's true.
So like the scene in the book when they talk about like the prayer store where you go and you buy prayers or something, and you go in there and they said it's just a whole bunch of voices that you hear, but people are buying prayers. Like, I didn't quite understand. And so I was actually looking forward to maybe them showing something like that in the television show, because I was like, what does that look like?
But then if they would have showed it, would you be able to relate to it in the show? So that's the thing, that they might have had to change that scene because it was unrelatable to now.
That's true, because I think it would have been.
I mean, to think 30 plus years later, you have to gear towards technology and all those adaptations.
Right. I hear you. It was extremely weird to me. So, Raya, what do you think? Who's your favorite character?
Mora.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? I thought it was Aunt Lydia.
Well, I already said Aunt Lydia. Yeah. I do like, so my top 3 are Mora because of the actress. Of course, I love the commander because he's fine.
Okay.
And
like the guy who's considered modern day rape. Got it. And I don't know what type of
I know, like what deep dark cave cave do you live in where those are your favorite characters?
I really, to be honest, you know what I really didn't like was Luke.
You don't like Luke? What?
Oh, I didn't like Luke. Okay, I liked Luke when
Can you get yourself together?
When he and Laura came together.
Yes.
I didn't like that because in the book, she liked him, but she was really mean to him when everything started switching over. Because she was just like, jerk, you're a man, and it's all because of you.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of cute how that came together in the end, where she had nobody, but he was somebody for her.
Right, the family. I know that was so. That just warmed my heart. I love that part in the television show.
I loved how it went from that scene to where it's like an emotional roller coaster to when they came to collect June or Offred from the house, and you weren't quite sure why they were collecting her. So it was an emotional pull in a different direction. You're like,
right.
What's gonna happen to her? She's pregnant. No. So like I felt like I was being like on a great emotional roller coaster towards the end of season 1 and also the end of season 2.
Oh,
When she got out of that van and handed the baby over, I was about to jump through my TV.
So how about call her Nicole? Like that threw me off. I thought she would have said call her. What was her mom's name?
Holly,
but she said call her Nicole, and I was like that
why? Because I think that it was an understanding between like a respect level that Serena Joy had just went through all those different oppressions, and that she was like, you know what? Let me at least just give her that one thing, since she did love my daughter,
right? And she handed her over, so
yes, and so that was the one reason why I really
didn't even look at it from that perspective.
I'm lost.
So when June got into the van at the end of season 2 and she was getting ready to leave, she didn't get into the van and she handed her daughter over. She said call her Nicole, and it threw me off because she wanted her name to be her mother's name, Holly. So I was just like, well, why is she saying that? Because I would have been like, call her Holly, don't call her Nicole. But Lynn is enlightening me that it was a respect for Serena Joy because Serena really let her go.
She made that choice to let her,
because I didn't think she was, and I was like, you don't let her go, I'm gonna come through this screen.
Right. Right.
So
well, she's sitting there with her finger cut off, so she.
Especially seeing that, her daughter, or for lack of better terms, their daughter, which they both loved as their own child, would have to one day possibly go through these same oppressions with getting her finger cut off for actually reading, or even to be beat like she did when she disobeyed her husband.
Right.
And those little things, I really saw that June, as a mother and as a fellow mother, respected Serena for making that choice to let her daughter be raised in an environment that she could flourish in.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that part
This
was
is
really
the same
deep.
Serena Joy that you guys are respecting that drove June to see her daughter.
But she made up for it. I feel like in that.
I don't know if she made up for it. I think she was torn the whole time.
Mean.
But then she was mean.
She is
but then
mean.
I really
But
think
Lydia's
that.
not mean.
I know, right?
And we're back to Aunt Lydia.
Right, the one who's putting the cow tag on the ear.
pretty much.
Right.
Whatever needs to calm you down, I'm gonna have to calm you down. But
God proud somebody.
The Aunt Lydia character was just so perfect.
It really
What was her name? Anne. What was her name?
Dowd.
Anne Dowd. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was great casting. Like she just embodied Aunt Lydia.
I mean, the casting in general.
It was good.
They did a great
But
job.
I promise you, if I see Ann Dow,
Right.
but we're gonna have some issues.
Right.
Talk to you.
See, anytime you're mad at the actor,
I know.
that tells you that that's a good actor. Right?
Oh yeah.
Actress.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Actress, yeah, it tells you that's a good actress. So what about when Off Glen, was it Off Glen? Yeah, Off Glen. Of Glen. Of Glen?
Yes. Telling me, Alfred.
Right.
From the House of Glen.
Emily.
From the
Okay.
House
How
of
about when Emily killed the old general's wife when she was at the field? Do you remember when she poisoned that lady?
Oh,
Yes.
in the colony?
Yeah. Well, was she the colonies?
She was at the colonies.
Oh, okay.
Because
And she
was
gave her
a
that
Serena
medicine.
Joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, you held down somebody and let them be raped once a month. You get no sympathy.
Basically,
Right.
yeah.
And she was like, oh, you poisoned me. And then she was like, no, you don't get any sympathy. And I was like, yes, mic drop.
Exactly. And it reminds me of your comment that you were making about how powerful she was before this and she had to be suppressive. And I just feel like with her, we watch her snap. We watch her snap when she killed that woman. We watched her snap when she ran over that guard.
Right.
We watched her snap when she beat down
Yeah, she's a little
Aunt
edge.
Lydia. Like she just goes through this when she's
what I'm
kind of quiet.
saying.
she's like,
Alex's character, she was exactly.
she was great.
That's true.
Speaking of characters, they're not really mentioned that much, especially in the book, but in the show, Moira's girlfriend, who is a doctor who helped deliver her baby in the show, was she, so I'm not sure if I'm like overthinking this or not, but remember how she found her in the books that she had passed away. Was she actually the character that helped Luke convince him to not go back after June, that told him to get on the boat?
In the van?
That is so crazy because I kept thinking to myself,
didn't it look
like her, but I don't know if I was just, they just both had blonde hair. So I told myself,
facial structures looked alike.
I kept saying to myself, that looks like that woman. And then she was like aggressive and bold and just smart.
And a doctor, so she's able to help when that
so
he was,
I don't know. I'm wondering.
You should have known who she was then.
That's true.
But wasn't their relationship really new at that time? She hadn't really like brought her over and around because they were supposed to all go to June and Luke's house for dinner when she ran into her girlfriend at the Christmas tree wine store, whatever she was buying. And she chose to like stay and hang out with her and be late. So I was thinking that maybe
they never really
crossed paths that much.
Maybe.
But I know the girl that was helping Luke had her hair pulled back with like a hat on. But for some reason that her face just stuck with me, and so when she showed the picture of her laying or dead in the book of pictures, and I was like, I think that was the guy that actually, or the girl that actually helped Luke.
Yeah,
because she was a doctor also.
That would be really interesting. So then that would mean that maybe a lot of people that are in those books are not dead, and that was just a fake dead. So
listeners, if you guys know that answer, please help me because it's gonna probably drive me crazy.
Right.
Didn't she get killed though?
Who? The doctor?
Yeah.
What's your question?
That was the whole point of her corpse in the book with all the faces.
Yeah, but you're saying that they really weren't dead.
But it didn't, I'm not saying, because like, you know how they flash back all the time?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if it was a flashback of when... I'm sorry, when Moira saw her face in the book, it was a year or 2 years or at what time?
So she could have helped Luke, but then in her travels back and forth to help, maybe got killed later on or something. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Well, I thought she got killed helping Luke.
No. Did she get shot?
She got shot helping Luke.
She never made it on the boat with Luke.
But at the same time, in the book, the faces weren't like... They got killed today. Right. It was over a course of time. We had all these unidentified bodies.
Oh, okay.
So by the time that Luke was there versus the time that Moira arrived, whether it was 2 months or 2 years later, she was dead then.
Okay.
So when she finally got up to Canada and had the book and convinced the advocate for America to actually let her look at the books, she was already dead by then.
Gotcha. Yeah. And that threw me off because quite honestly, I thought she was going to look for her child.
Me too.
That she had with the books. I didn't realize she was going to look for a girlfriend. Yeah. So that was interesting.
That was a good turn. So if you guys know the answer, please let me know.
That's on Rewatch Wine.
So Champagne, who's your favorite character?
Of course, Moira. Yeah, but I actually love June's character.
Yeah.
She gets this.
She wasn't exactly what I would picture, but I mean, I did like her character.
Not at all. Exactly. I think she was her best when she became rebellious.
Oh, yes. I loved when she got cocky.
Oh, my God. She was hilarious when she got cocky for some reason to me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like June and Moira. I even like their relationship, too, with each other.
True besties.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thoughts on I know it's 2 seasons, so this podcast is a little bit longer than the rest of them, but...
I cannot wait for season 3.
Me too.
I know. I'm looking forward to season 3 also. All right, so let's go ahead and give this season 1 and season 2 our rating as it relates to the transition from book to TV show.
I'll start. I give it a full glass. I think that Margaret did an amazing job of correlating the book to the show and spacing out different details from one book into 2 seasons so far. So, full glass from Lynn.
I think I agree with you, Lynn. I think even though the ending of the book drove me crazy, the way that she transitioned it to this television show is amazing. So, full glass for me also.
I would say full glass for me too. I need to have an ending. But the transition is very, very good. I cannot wait for season 3 as well. So full glass for me.
Okay, so I was struggling back and forth with this, but because of the ending of the book, but I will also agree it has to be a full glass.
Yay!
All right, well, Handmaid gets a full bottle. All right, well, thanks y'all for tuning in with us for Read, Watch, Wine. Be sure to look up our future podcasts. Listen to some of our discussions regarding the movie, the book to movie. If you have any recommendations of some books that you'd like us to review that have transitioned to a movie, you can DM us on Instagram at Read, Watch, Wine. And
as we do with our full glass, full bottles, we all end with a drink.